welcome to another design tutorial. My name is Janice, and before we get started, remember to subscribe to my channel and click the bell button for new fresh tutorials every week or two. So today we are going to learn how to create a calendar design from scratch in InDesign. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this topic was because one of my subscribers, her name is Chito, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. She says, "Hi Janice, thank you for your tutorials. Do you have a slow version of this? I'd like to know how to design calendar like you showed in this video in InDesign. I have problem with editing tables. I got one InDesign template and I find it difficult to change the font inside the table and the table cell colors and its stroke size, especially selecting only one cell of full table cells. It would be good to have this tutorial, thank you." And so I thought it would be good for me to create a tutorial so that if any one of you who are struggling with this could find this tutorial helpful. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. First, we create a new page. Again, depending where you are in the world, you can use either A4 size or US letter size, but for me, I'm going to stick with A4. Forgive me for my voice, I'm actually having a really bad throat. I've been coughing the whole night, so go under print, A4 size or letter size, okay? I'm going to stick with A4, and then I'll head over to the margin section. Make sure this thing is linked so that when you change one, it will change all of them at the same time. There you go, and then create. Okay, so now usually a calendar has about 7 columns and about probably 5 rows, if I'm not mistaken. 6 rows. Okay, so we'll try to do that right now. We'll go head over to table, create table, and then we are going to put around 6 rows and 7 columns. That sounds good. Okay, and then we can drag it out just like that, or maybe not all the way because we want to leave some space for some other things down there. Or if you want just to create a basic, I'll just create a basic calendar for now. Okay, so I'll just make it like this, and then I'll just maybe use this align to margins and just right at the bottom. Okay, so this is where you put your month of the year, January, February, whatever it is. Since we are in December, I'll create one for December. Okay, just type it out. So use your text tool, drag it out, and then type it, and then you change the your font. I quite like this font. What's it called? Frederica the Great. Okay, now I'll increase it. So what you do is you put your cursor here and hold down the key, Control and Shift, and then you drag it out. Okay, you scale it up or down. And then because I don't like all these lines, the blue lines and guides and all that, I just want to view without it. So go under view and put and then hit over print view. Okay, and that's good. And then maybe the year, we'll just put the year. I'll just copy this. So hold your Alt key and then drag it out to make a copy of your text. And I'll select everything. Double click here and double click here. Okay, and then drag it again. So again, put your cursor here and hold down the Control and Shift key and then drag it down, scale it down. Alright. Alright, so let's just see without the guides. So For those who want to know what I did to remove the guides, I hit Control or Command semicolon. Okay, that's good, that's much better. So I'll put align to selection so everything looks good. Okay, so once we got the basics done, I'll just group it, Control G or Command G, and then I'll align to margins. Okay, now because I don't like this thing a lot of space here, I'll just double click it so it cropped to the height of the text, and I'll group it again, Control or Command G. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, first of all, if you want to change the thickness of your calendar, I'll head over to click on your table itself, double click in, select everything, head over to table, cell options, and stroke and fills. Okay, so you can change the whole thing. That means the stroke on the outside and the inside. You can just change it here. Okay, and I like to stick with 0.25. Okay, it's thin, but you can still see when you print out, and I always liked 0.25. I've been using that ever since in design school. I don't know why. Even a lot of my friends always put 0.25. We find that 0.5, even 0.5 is a little bit too thick, but anyway, it comes down to personal preference. All right, but, this is what I usually do. I just want to point out that remember when we created a table, we had to go to table, create table, right? And then you click OK, and then you scale your table out according to whatever height or whatever size that you want, and when you let go, it conforms the table towards the height that you created, right? But I'll just delete this. Oops, I'll just delete it. Okay, but when you do that, just remember there's the table is still within a text box or within a bounding box itself. Okay, so it's like a table in a box. So when you select outside, so let me just do this. Okay, so now when you select just the box like this without going inside and selecting like this, what happens is, okay, I'll just select the box and I change the stroke size here. Okay, you're basically putting an outline of the actual box that you have created, right? So you don't want to do that. Okay, you can do that if you want to create a stroke like outside of your box, but if you don't want there's a stroke outside the box like that, I'll just undo it. Okay, so if I don't want it to be like that, I have to select inside like that. Okay, and then go to table options, cell options, and stroke and fills, and then you change it like that. Okay, so what if we wanted to create a table that has no stroke on the outside of the box? Okay, what I do is I'll double click in, I'll select everything again, go to table, cell options, stroke and fills, and then I'll deselect the insides, okay, because you want to change the outside part of the table. And then I'll put my weight to 0 and I click OK. So when you can see I can put without the stroke on the outside. And let's say I want to have like alternating fields on the table. I can also do that. Select everything again, go to tables, table options, alternating row strokes, or alternating fields. Okay, for the moment I like the fields. Okay, so we can use every other row. Okay, if you want it to be alternating fields of your table, you click the every other row and click OK, and that is how you do it. Okay, if you want to adjust the color, let's undo it again. Okay, let's say I want it to be maybe a little lighter than that. So go to table options, alternating fields, and then every other row, maybe I'll put it to 10%, or could be even 5%, you know. And then we'll just leave this all as is, and then we'll click OK. And then you get this. What if you want to do the columns? You can do that too. We'll try again, table, select everything and click onto table options, alternating columns. Every other column. We'll try this and see. Maybe the first column, the next column could be 1 mil. Let's just test out in a different color so we know what's the difference. Okay, then you can also preview. I see, that's what they do. You can preview it as well. Okay, and then we can also maybe, the weight could be 0.5 maybe. I see. So this will be changed into different colors. So test things out. Okay, so the first column, let's say here, the weight of the stroke is 0.5. So you can see this is 0.5. And then the next one, it will be pink. It will be in pink, and it will be 1 mil, 1 point, I mean. And then it alternates. Okay, and then you can change it up. You know, if you want to start with the second column, or you want to yeah, so you can preview it as well, as you can see here. So we'll click OK and see how it looks like. So as you can see, you can alternate the strokes. You can even alternate the row strokes as well. You can do what I did earlier. So you can do different things with the table options. Is amazing. Okay, so next we want to, I'll just undo it and just keep it like that. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5, so 7 times 5 is 35. There's enough boxes for the dates and all that. So usually for the row for the week, it's usually smaller, so, and that's why I'm decreasing the size. And then I'll start with Monday. It depends what you want to start with. Some people like to start with on a Sunday, but I usually like to start my week on a Monday. Actually, I should make like this is better. I like something simple like that. Maybe not the whole day. I mean the whole words. I'll just do this. Short and sweet. Okay, so we'll select everything. Okay, let's say I'll select everything like this, and then I want it to centralize, so you can put centralize like this, and then this could be align center, so it's aligning the height of, it's aligning the center of the height of your row. Okay, so I do this, and then I'll change my font to a something a little bit more easy on the eyes. Maybe we'll try this one. I'm not sure it will work. Let's just try it anyway. Yep, I think it's alright. Just select it again, and let's say you want to space out the letters. So we usually say space out the kerning. So the kerning is the space between the letters. Okay, the space between the letters. So what I usually do is I select everything like that, and then using holding down your Alt key and the right arrow, you can space out your text like that. Okay, then you can actually see better. You can actually read better. Because if the stroke is too thick, sometimes it's really hard to read, and if it's too close together, it's harder to read. So you like to space it out. Yep, I think that's pretty good. So if you don't want to do a dated calendar, you can use click your rectangle tool, and you want to create boxes on each column, on each row. Okay, so what I usually do is hold down your shift key and then drag it out so it will be a square. Alright, and then I'll change the stroke to about 0.5 as well. Is it too big? Well, you can make it a little bit smaller if you like. Okay, and then I'll hold my Alt key and Shift, and then I'll drag it out like this. And then let go. And then using my duplicate key as my duplicate shortcut, this may work. Sometimes it may work, sometimes it may not for boxes. Sometimes you have to adjust manually, but I like to do a shortcut like where I duplicate everything and then I'll adjust the boxes to the right space. Okay, and I use my duplicate key using Control Alt Shift and D. Keep duplicating it. Okay, it will duplicate, but sometimes you can see the row, it's not quite the same, right? This one is not, it's starting from here. We'll just break it out like that. Okay, sometimes you can just eyeball it, you don't have to be exact. As long as it looks pretty close, it's pretty good already. So I'll select everything using my Shift key and then Control G or Command G to group it, and then I'll duplicate downwards like this. So Alt use, okay, so I'll duplicate for each row. Okay, so what I'll do is use the Alt key again and Shift, and then eyeball it, see where your I think it's like that, it's the same, it's the top. Okay, and then use the duplicate key again, Control, hold down Control, Shift, Alt and D to duplicate. Alright, and then you can sort of like adjust it manually, just a little bit like that. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not, but the duplicate key is very, very useful to, like, you know, cut down your design time as well. Okay, so you can see the boxes are a little bit too big. That's okay. It's just for a tutorial, so so adjust it accordingly. Make sure it looks good first before you duplicate. But of course, if it still doesn't look good, I would say delete everything. Delete the 4 rows, and then recreate it again, and then do the same steps that I showed you earlier to duplicate down instead of just doing one by one. It's just too tiring and too time consuming. Okay, so I just want to look at the question again. It's difficult to change the font inside the table and the cell colors. Okay, so I've covered the table cell colors. Not quite. I covered the table cell stroke and the fields, but I haven't covered the font yet. So if you want to edit the colors of the text in your calendar, you click onto your table, double click, and then select the first row like that, and then go to your swatches. Okay, and make sure you hit this formatting effects text. Okay, when you hit the formatting effects text, which is the T symbol, make sure this T is at the front. Okay, if you select the bottom bit, that's the stroke of your text, so you don't want that. So make sure this is at the front, and then you change to whatever color you like. Okay, yellow, maybe just pink. Right, it can be like that. Alright, so let's say I want to change the text and the field at the same time instead of going in again and selecting it again. So I want to give you a shortcut by selecting the first row and then clicking on the T part again, and then let's say I want my text to be white and my field I'll click on the fill section. Okay, so switch over this fill, and then maybe I want it to be pink instead. Okay, just make sure sometimes you have to click twice, and then you click out. So and that's how you change the text and the background color at the same time. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let's say I want to create the stroke outside. Instead of just clicking in like that, which is the easier part, with the easier way of doing it, you could also change the stroke outside of the table by selecting everything. Go to table, cell options, stroke and fields, and then deselecting the cell inside, and then you can adjust like that. So there are two ways. Okay, there are two ways. It all depends on you. Alright, you can do that. So there are two ways of changing the stroke on the outside. So if you want to change your stroke on the inside, make sure to double click in, select everything, and then change it through the table section like how I showed you earlier. Okay, now remember, for calendar design, I would always recommend to put your website at the bottom in the master page section. So go onto your pages tab. You can either click here, or go to Windows, Pages. Alright, and then you will bring up this box, and then go under master pages, double click in, and then put your website in. Okay, I'll use this, maybe a 9, and then I'll increase the spacing between the text. Okay, alright, double click like that. Okay, and then I'll usually center to page, just like that. So, and then I'll duplicate again. So hold your Alt and Shift key, bring it over, and then align center. Or just open your pages and then click into your page like this, and it will be in your main page. So why do I recommend it? Because whenever you create a new page, let's say I like to create a different page, it will have your website all ready for you. So whatever you put on your master page, it updates on every other page as well, as long as the master page has your master page applied on your pages. Okay, let's say you don't want a master page on this page. All you have to do is apply this none page by dragging this none icon into your page, and then none of it will apply. Okay, if you don't want any formatting from the master page. Okay, so let's make this design look better. Let's say I find I want to fill up the space at the bottom, and then there's a little bit more space here. So what I do is I double click in like that, and then I'll wait for my cursor to change to this arrow, and then I bring it down. Okay, I just want to see where the bounding box is. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, and then I'll select the boxes all together like that. Go to your table, distribute columns evenly, and then I'll bring, and then I can always you can always adjust this manually. It's not hard, just eyeball it. Okay, do the best that you can. Okay, I'll click here again. Okay, and maybe this part I just, I think that looks pretty good. Increase the text a little bit, maybe. And maybe the 2019 could be smaller. I'll just double click in. And I'll just make sure, maybe I'll just space out the text a bit, the numbers I mean. Alright, I think that looks good. That's your calendar design. And I'll just delete all of this. I'll just delete this underneath. Okay, there are many ways to create a calendar that is simple but colorful at the same time. That looks good and it looks quite attractive. Okay, I'll do maybe 6 pages for you guys. Okay, so this is a December one. So we'll start from January, shall we? So I'll duplicate each one. Let's just duplicate a page. Now there are 2 ways to do it. One is to drag it into this column to duplicate it, and the second one is to duplicate spread. Okay, duplicate spread. So 2 at the same time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, that's fine. Okay, we'll do different colored ones. Okay, so we'll start with January. Let's say January. I'll just ungroup it. And then I'll center it like that, and then you could align this to your selection. And then, right, do not change the text if possible. Always go with the longest text and then stick with this size. Okay, even though it's a little bit short, you want everything to look standard, looks the same. So if you have big and small, big and small text, your calendar would not look as a set. You want the text to actually be the same size, all pages. So we'll try this. I'll just delete for now, and I'll do one by one because I find it for me, I find it's easier to do one by one. It's up to you. Okay, I just wanted to show you different ways of doing things. You don't have to stick to my way, but the possibility of doing other ways is also okay, as long as the end result is good. Yeah, just do what is most comfortable for you. Okay, so I'll change the different colors. Like I will stick to a different color. I'll select the whole thing like this, go to my swatches, make sure this top part is on the top. If not, you're going to change the stroke only. So make sure you click this thing is formatting effects container is selected, as well as this thing is at the top, and then you change your colors. Okay, to blue. Okay, and then we'll do again another page. Like this as well. You don't always have to stick with the same style, right? So you can and then I'll just align to margins after I grouped it. Oops, I know why. Yeah, there you go. So I group it again, and then I align to margins, and then I'll change the colors to a different color, yellow. Okay, because I changed the color yellow, I can't see my text anymore. So what I'll do is I'll select this again, the whole thing, and select everything. Head over to this T, Formatting Effects Text, and then make sure put the color black or registration. Just stick to black, okay, and like this. And then I'll duplicate again. Oops, which is just like one page at a time. And make sure you double click to crop your text to the right size, bring it together, group it, and then align center. Right, and then I'll change the color to a different one this time. Alright, and then again I'll duplicate another one. I just realized we are already past 2019. I need to change to 2020, okay? Sorry about that, guys. I'm still in my 2019 mood. Oops, I'll just... There you go. Sometimes it disappears, you just need to double click and then it will appear, okay? So doing this one by one, although it's a bit tedious and it's a bit like, there's a lot to do, but I think what I'm really showing you is how to really, I'm editing it for you live, so you know that if you do discover problems like I did, you know what to do. Just double click, okay? Oops. Double click and it will show up. I'll just create a bit bigger like that. So I'll just change to 20. Here you go. Much better. Hey guys, I just realized that I missed out the May calendar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this page. I'm not going to touch the June, which has already been done. And I'll just edit this page. Okay. I'll double click in. I'll group it and I'll align. Okay. And then the June has been done. So now I'll change the feel for the top. And then what I'll do is I'll give it this color. Now you see, you have to be very careful, okay, because if you do not select the right fill, you might be filling up the stroke instead of the fill. So make sure if you make this mistake, just click none and then make sure you select the fill to be at the front, okay? So just check. Oops. Try it again. We'll select everything and then we'll click to green. That's it. And then the last one is June. All we have to do is just change the color of the field to dark blue. I think it's quite good. It's quite sweet. It's like rainbow colors. Now I want to take a step further to make it look even better. I just had a look and I was thinking, and I think it will look even better if the first row do not have the lines on them. So I'll select everything, and to remove the lines, you can go here to remove it. Will it work? Nope, it doesn't work. Okay. So if that doesn't work, we'll select it again. I'll go to table, the same thing, with cell options, stroke and fills, and then I'll just put to 0 for the whole thing. And there you go. Now when I zoom out, that's Control minus or Command minus. Don't you think it looks much better without the stroke? So you can play around with your design, you know, get the right feel of your design, and take your time to design the first page. And if you like it, then you duplicate it, because now I realize when I go through it, I realize it might actually look better without the lines in between. So I realized a bit later, and then you have to probably have to go back through all the other pages to adjust it accordingly. So always get your first design, the first page right first, and then you duplicate it, and that will save you so much time. Okay, so I'll just do this quickly. Very nice. It's simple, it's colorful, it has personality. The font that you choose brings out a lot of personality in your design, so choose your font wisely. This sort of font is called a display font, and a display font is usually used for titles, and it's not really meant for an actual, like a paragraph. You know how when you read a book, you don't use a display font in your paragraph because it's really hard to read. So choose a really nice display font that you really like. Could be like a handwritten font, or it could be a calligraphy, something that has personality, okay? And that will make your calendar design looks really good. So I hope that tip helps. Alright, it's telling me that I need to go pick up my kids, so so Chito, is it I don't know how you pronounce your name. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please do comment. Please do comment right below, or if any of you guys need any help or have any questions on using InDesign, on how to design a certain, I don't know, name what you want me to help you with, and I will love to create a tutorial for you. So I hope that helped very much. So remember, if you like this video, do like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next tutorial next week. Bye now.